Helping Seniors Television, all about improving quality of life for seniors. If you're a senior, know a senior, or plan to be a senior, then this show is for you. It's all about helping you develop your own aging plan so you can age actively and with dignity. Helping Seniors Television from the Helping Seniors Network of information, education, and resources.
Hi, I'm Elaine Dreamer-Cook, president of HandyPro of the Space Coast. And I love helping seniors. I had known about Joe Steckler and his Joe's Clubs years and years ago when my sons used to come and play for the Alzheimer's people at the Joe's Clubs. And we got such a kick out of it. And we thought that it was so wonderful to watch these people having a great time together, singing. They always knew the Christmas carols. It was really cool. So when Helping Seniors came around to my business, I thought that this would be a very good avenue to promote my business and also connect as a partnership.
Welcome to today's edition of Helping Seniors Television from the Helping Seniors Network. Whether you are caring for a senior, are a senior, or just plan to be one, we hope you'll enjoy today's program. Helping Seniors TV host and longtime senior advocate Joe Steckler and Helping Seniors Executive Director Kerry Fink visit with AM 1510 WMEL radio station owner John Harper. John's 50,000-watt AM 1510 radio station flagships the Talk to Me radio network, which is home to the Helping Seniors radio program each week. I'm Kerry Fink, and welcome to Helping Seniors Television. And I get the privilege today of sitting in Joe Steckler's chair, even though I'm not Joe Steckler, because we asked Joe to take another chair on today's broadcast, and we called in our good friend John Harper, who's the owner of WMEL radio station. So thank you, gentlemen, for agreeing to be our guest today.
My pleasure.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
So we're going to call today's television show The Value of Media Outreach. And what do we mean by that? One of the most important things that we attempt to do at Helping Seniors is get information into people's hands that can make a difference in their lives in terms of information that will help them complete and make the best decisions as it pertains to each person's individual aging plan. So how do we do that? Well, as you know, we have our information helpline at 321-473-7770. 321-473-7770. It's a free call. You'll get a very helpful person on the line named Kay Kaiser, and she will walk through getting information that will be applicable to your particular situation. It's a free service. We're now in our 6 years at Helping Seniors, and already to date, more than 1,900 different people have taken advantage and been helped through that helpline. But the other thing that Helping Seniors has been doing, actually from before Helping Seniors was even Helping Seniors, was doing a lot of media outreach. And that's really, Joe, that's where you really kind of created the value of getting information out to seniors. You did that when you started the whole Alzheimer's Foundation and brought Joe's Clubs and everything into our county. But then you've really done that at a whole nother level. People know to look for your columns in Florida Today. They know to look for them in Hometown News, Senior Scene. I was making a presentation last night and I said, this is everything. You cannot pick up a magazine, Spotlight Magazine, Aldea Today, Ebony News Today, and you're going to see Joe Steckler's face in there, and he's going to be giving you information that's valuable. How did you come to the point of realizing that that was an important way to reach seniors?
Well, I actually think I kind of lucked into it, really. When I came here after I retired from the Navy, one of the first people I met was John Harper. And I worked at FIT at the time, Florida Institute of Technology. And we did some radio shows there. And then I started with the Alzheimer's chapter in John, and I started talking to John more and more about what we were doing. And I realized that the radio was great, but we could do a lot more. And the importance was to reach people. What we never really knew was how many people heard us on radio, how many people watched us on television or how many people read our newspaper column. And like you mentioned, there are 1,900 people that have called us directly for service. But what we don't know is how many thousands of people have listened to a radio show, have watched a television show, or read something in the printed media that has helped them find out their next step. That's the important thing. We talk about the value of help. If you just help one person solve a problem, you've accomplished something. And I think I learned that from you, John. Radio is hard. If you're a great big radio station, you got all these monitoring things, and you got all kinds of stuff you can do, I guess. And you're a radio man, you're a radio guy. You know there are ways to do it. But it's just like us, a small nonprofit. There's just a limit as to how much we can do. And we have to rely on the people to pay attention to what we say, because maybe it's because we're honest in what we say, and we're honest in what we try to do. And I think that sort of rubs off to the potential customer.
Well, and I was going to say, we were talking once at the radio studio. I think John Harper made the comment that you are the single longest running talk radio host in all of Brevard County, which goes back to basically introducing John Harper, who has been really kind of a legendary radio figure in Brevard County for decades and decades. You come from a huge major market network experience, but you've really held down the local corner of the radio market. You know, we have lots of radio companies that are not even near here. The programming comes in from all over the place, but you have really been the Talk to Me station and made a presence for working within the community. What was your motivation for taking that approach to radio, as opposed to let me just get a lot of programming produced someplace else?
Well, first, Kerry and Joe, thank you for inviting me here today. You know, Joe started doing outreach before that word was even coined. So that goes back decades, and I'll answer your question in a moment, but let me tell a quick story about when I first met Joe. It was on a hot summer day, and I was painting inside our studios at WMEL, and the air conditioning was not on. I had the front doors open to get the fumes out. It was late in the afternoon, around 3 or 4. I'd been painting all day. Joe comes in, and he was starting to wanting to publicize a upcoming art event that he was going to have. And he said, he came up to me, and I've got paint all over me, and he said, I'm looking for the owner of the radio station. And I looked around, I said, well, that's me. And Joe wasn't sure if I was telling him the truth or not. But then finally, after that, we started talking. We've had a great relationship now for decades.
So that's a great story, and it is one of the fun parts about local radio. When you set out to do local radio, though, what was your goal in terms of outreach? Because I think it's very synonymous with the ideas that we have about outreach for helping seniors today.
Well, the goal, Kerry and Joe, and to our audience was, when I started WMEL Radio over 26 years ago now, the goal was to be local, local, local. Try to do as much as we can from a local aspect, combining network elements, syndicated elements with us as well. And I think over the years, we've been pretty successful coming up with a great team of local talk show hosts that we've been able to develop. Some of them have gone on to big things in various markets throughout the state, throughout the country. And Joe is, I think, a great example, whereas a couple of years ago, we were even talking about syndicating his show. It was going to be based out of, I think, Los Angeles.
Well, shortly after I started with you, we had an offer from Talk One Radio within a month, because we were the third radio show in over 10,000 in the United States that talked about senior issues, and there was an initial listening audience of 10 million people in Los Angeles. And I talked to you about it, and I said, no, I wanted to stay right here, WMEL. That was what I wanted to do. I wanted to stay in a small community. I didn't want to go to Los Angeles. I'd had enough of California in the Navy.
Well, the interesting thing when you think about it, though, it points out the need for getting information, the fact that there would be such an appetite for getting information about seniors out into the marketplace. And one of the things we talk about here is, since we live in a county where 1 out of 2 people match the AARP definition of being a senior, 50 plus, and 1 out of 4 people are 65 plus, it becomes very important that we get information out to them. And what are some of the things that you as WMEL radio have done to touch people? You broadcast throughout the county. You have a 50,000 watt signal that reaches, well, it reaches well beyond our county, actually. It goes into Orlando and down into the Treasure Coast and all those areas.
And we're #1 in the Bahamas.
And #1 in the Bahamas. But you have a very powerful signal. You also have FM stations, 1 each in Palm Bay, Melbourne, and Florida. And of course, you're on the World Wide Web. But how do you use those tools to get information that would be of value to seniors? And also, just in the interest of full disclosure, John Harper is Executive Vice President in the Helping Seniors Organization. So all of us together are vitally concerned with getting information out that is of value to seniors and people who care for seniors.
Well, everything that you've mentioned, Kerry, is a wonderful conduit for a radio station like ours being able to disseminate information that Joe and yourself present to our audience every Thursday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon on the Helping Seniors program. It has really, if I can use the term, come of age since Joe and I started together decades ago. In fact, to use an expression I like to use, going back to your days of music of your life, you know, when you're getting older, when the music of your life is of your life.
Right.
And I think with the growing aging population, the timing is perfect, being able to present the information that you and Joe present on a weekly basis to our audience on our AM, on our 3 FMs, on the World Wide Web, through print. It is a wonderful opportunity for people to get the information they need, desperately need in many cases.
Well, we were talking about this again just last night. I was talking with a person who had a background in radio. I said, you know, particularly for seniors, if they are, the beauty of radio, we always used to talk about, is that it reaches people wherever they are. In fact, in a multitasking world, I used to love this line, you can listen to the radio while you're driving a car, you can take a shower while listening to the radio, you can go to work and listen to the radio, but typically that's the only media that you can access. So even if you talk about a senior who may not be able to get out, radio always comes in. That's really the value of it. And I was going to ask you, Joe, you've been in the senior space so long, how do you select the topics that you think are going to be most valuable for the most number of seniors in our area? There's so many areas to cover.
My goodness. You know, I ask that because I take the other approach. Somebody said to me, well, if you start a radio show, how are you going to find things to talk about? Or if you start a newspaper column, how are you going to find things to talk about? You can take the same radio show, same television show, and you can probably do it with 10 different people and get 10 different answers.
I also remember, excuse me for interrupting, I remember when Joe first started doing the talk show, and he came to me before the very first show, and he said, John, how am I going to fill an hour of time?
Yeah.
And he was really concerned about that, and I said, Joe, don't worry about it. Once you get into it, it'll be fine. And all these years later, Joe actually needs several hours a day.
That's right.
To be able to present the information that he has.
Well, that's one of the reasons I've done the Melbourne Art Festival. It's a half hour, it's not long, but I never have a guest there. I just get the mic and start talking. And it's just, you see the crowds, you see the people, you get involved with it because, I am a senior, so I understand the problem. And you asked me about how do I develop a lot of my radio and TV shows? I probably experienced myself most of the things that I talk about. And that's one of the advantages I would have over a 25 or 30-year-old person that's going to try and write the articles or do the radio shows or do the TV shows, because it's my life, really.
You live it.
Well, somebody asked me just the other day, what does it take to be a good talk show host on radio or television? and you see these days on television. You hear it on radio. A lot of the younger talk show hosts, they're very good on television. They look very good. They present themselves well, but they don't have the worldwide experience that years bring to the topic, the talk show, and the talk show host. I feel that really rounds out what makes a good man or woman as a talk show host, having all of those years of experience to draw upon. Right. Joe, for example, world traveler, been all over the world in his younger days as a submarine commander, his other jobs that he had in the Navy, what he's done here in Brevard County, other areas of the country, and all of that, and also being very politically interested in what's happening in our community, in our state, and nationwide. That all helps make a good talk show host. And I think Joe then is able to blend that into bringing topics that are ideally suited and situated for people of the senior league, so to speak.
And I think there's another aspect to it too, which both of you, probably by virtue of experience and just natural ability, have, and that you have an ability to communicate with the audience. A lot of times people who are new to it will talk at the audience instead of talking with the audience.
Absolutely.
And one of the reasons I think the programming lasts and has meaning, and we hear about it whenever we go out, people come up and say, I enjoy hearing the radio show, and I look forward to the next time I can hear it, is because radio has always had that companion type of, I'm not alone, I have my friend on the radio with me. And that's the spirit that you fostered with the whole Talk to Me network anyway. And Joe, as we all develop music, as we all develop the helping seniors and try to get more and more information, because I agree, it seems like it's more a question of how do you find enough time to get in the topics, because so many things are moving so fast right now. We just finished up, Joe finished up doing a television segment with people who are in the in-home personal care business, and they literally ran out of time. There was so much to cover and so much good information. It was like we were trying to figure out, could we set a second version of the episode in there? But it seems that way every time you scratch the surface, there's just more and more to cover.
Yeah, that's the thing about it. You don't run out of topic information. You just don't do it, because there are so many people in the world, and no two people are alike. So, what worked for one might not work for another, but the chances are pretty good. If there's a problem that's been identified someplace, that problem identification is going to help somebody else. And that's the importance of having a program that can reach a radio audience, a television audience, and a printed media. We have something that is unique in Brevard County, Florida, and we've offered this to other stations throughout the state. And I don't know why people don't want to seem to pick up on it yet.
Well, I think the yet is the key word, because I was going to say, we understand. I was just thinking, a lot of times the people who call the Senior Information Helpline and present a situation, and then Kay works together with various groups to try to resolve it. But it's always funny when you've told the story on the radio before, you've had people call in from way out of state who ran into us, because now, of course, the broadcasts are global because they're on the internet, and you'll have somebody call in from California, heard a reverse mortgage story, or you've had an adult child of a parent who lives in our area call in because they found out about it someplace up north. And all that fosters that sense of community and shows the importance of getting this information out there.
And the importance of getting that information out has been brilliantly crafted by Joe over the years with, as he just said, combining radio with television right here, with the newspapers that Joe is involved with now, with the internet. I mean, it's a wonderful way, as I said at the outset of the show, a great conduit to get that information out. Another quick radio story. When I first started in talk radio in, believe it or not, 1972, we were one of 5 talk stations in the country. Los Angeles, San Francisco, New York, Chicago, and ourselves in Miami. And we had a difficult time in those days selling talk radio to the advertising community because we appealed to listeners 35 years of age and above. And in those days, that was considered taboo.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to touch the 35 plus numbers. Now, all of these decades later, that has really changed. But again, that's why Joe is such a pioneer in this and has really developed a great opportunity for seniors, also their children, to listen, to watch, to read about seniors and senior topics that can help the overall life of their parents.
Well, you know, we have done, for the past few years, our advocacy arm of helping seniors has put together a senior needs survey where we ask seniors to self-report what are the most important topics that you're seeking information about. And actually, one of the surprising results of that survey was that the #1 need of seniors that they reported was actually more information. Yeah. And what I was going to ask you, Joe, it's not a secret. We're all busy trying to expand, finding more ways. We're now hitting senior expos. We're trying to reach seniors wherever we can throughout Brevard County. And one of our objectives is to expand the footprint of what we're able to do on radio, not in terms of the physical footprint, because you already have the county entirely covered geographically, but I'm talking about the time factor, so that there's more and more programming. So we're looking to expand the Helping Seniors programming on the radio as well. So I just want to hear, you know, some from you, some thoughts and ideas of how we can continue to improve the effectiveness of reaching consumers with information of value to seniors through the radio.
Well, I think, Kerry and Joe, the way to effectively reach that segment of the population is to have topics and guests that are relevant to what's happening today, what is expected to happen in the future, and to answer those needs, those many questions that people have. Younger adults whose parents may be getting to the age where they need to be concerned about assisted living facilities, medical care, all the different things that are available to them that they may not be aware of right now. That's what needs to be done in the future. Relevant issues, relevant topics, relevant guests to help expand what the groundwork that Joe has already laid out here over the last couple of years.
And I would add one thing to that. Too often, we're too afraid to say that our county and local governments are not doing their job. And that's been made very apparent here in Brevard County, Florida, when recently our county commissioners voted to phase out the county-based operation funding program over a 5-year period, because they said they felt that money needed to go into repair of roads as opposed to care of people. I strongly disagree with that, and I don't think the commissioners did that maliciously or anything like that. I think they did that because they didn't understand what the basic need was. Because as soon as we went down and explained to one of the commissioners, right away they reversed themselves.
Correct.
So information and education is so important. You cannot assume that a person, no matter whether they're elected, appointed, or just ipso facto do something, understand the real basic problem. The basic problem is funding and getting government to realize that you cannot operate unless you have a viable plan under which to operate. You need a plan.
Yeah. And I was to actually build upon that point, I was going to say, you know, there was actually a media organization, I don't want to say the name, who actually told us that at one point, this was some years back, but the person, I don't think that person's there any longer, had actually said, oh, everything that needs to be written about seniors has already been written. And can you imagine what a foolish statement that is? Because people move into this county at an unprecedented rate. We're a growing county, and we tout ourselves as an elder-friendly county. So if our government tells people we're an elder-friendly county, shouldn't all of us be working together to ensure that we deliver on what we're boasting of ourselves to be? And what you're saying is exactly correct. We have to find a way to get that information about what's available for seniors, but also to carry the information about what needs to be done for seniors back to people who can have some impact on it.
And I think that to do what we're talking about is not costly. It's costly in terms of time devoted to making it happen. But unless people are willing to devote the time to make it happen, it's never going to happen. And one of the biggest mistakes I think we could make would be to fail in our efforts to make other people aware of what this need really is. Seniors don't expect anything to be handed to them. And often too many people think that, but that's not what we're asking for. We're asking that people understand the problem and do something about realistically trying to help solve it.
Yeah, I stood in front of a panel of citizens of the community, and I said, you know, the key thing that we're after as helping seniors is we want to be the squeaky wheel that's always reminding you there's a lot of seniors who need our help. We just raised in our county a half cent for kids and schools, and that's important. We just raised a half cent so we could help our lagoon, and that's important. But what are we doing to help the people who've been paying the taxes their whole life? Are we gonna abandon them now, or are we gonna step up and do the right thing? And that's what helping seniors, at least I believe, is all about.
But you can't have our governor go to Maine and ask the people in Maine to move to Florida and not be willing to put something into taking care of the people. You know, Medicaid dollars don't follow the person. When a person moves from another state here, the Medicaid dollars or the care dollars that are here in Florida have got to take care of the incoming people. It's just the way it works.
If we're booking for growth, we have to have them in. We have just like a couple of moments left. I just wanted to thank you both for joining us on the radio show and TV show, and tell you that personally, I'm really excited about where all this is heading. I think there's a big future in a lot of things that we can accomplish together in helping seniors. I just wanted to say thank you for joining us on this today.
You're welcome, Kerry. You're welcome. I'm Joe Steckler. Thank you for joining our program today. I'd like to remind you that our senior information line is available to you at 321-473-7770. There you can get help and direction that could be helpful for your specific situation or circumstances. The work of helping seniors is very important, but we can't do it alone. That is why our sponsors here in Brevard County are so important. I'd like to thank our many area sponsors, businesses and medical providers who support the mission of helping seniors that help us carry the cost of our media efforts. If you'd like to join us either as a business partner or simply donate as an individual, we would welcome your call at 321-473-7770. You are always welcome to visit our website at www.helpingseniorsofbrevard.org. Thanks so much for your help. It does make a difference.